When I was about 7 or 8 years old, one was laying in bed trying to sleep through a brutal thunderstorm. I was the only person sleeping on the second story of a... The house was old. 150-year-old farmhouse. Really old. Every floorboard creaked. Every door groaned. The wind would whistle through the window frames like a ghost breathing. To a child, it felt like the house was alive. And not in a friendly way. I was terrified of that house. I was so scared that I usually slept with the lights on. I just knew there were legions of ghosts and monsters hiding in the shadows. Waiting for me to close my eyes. Lightning flashed. That night, a brutal thunderstorm rolled in. Thunder rattled the windows. The rain pounded against the roof like 1,000 fists. It was the worst storm I had ever experienced, and it did nothing for my nerves. I eventually fell asleep, exhausted from fear and the noise of the storm. But then was awakened by a deafening crack of thunder. It was so loud that it shook the entire house. I sat up in bed, my heart pounding, and looked around the dark room. That is when I saw it. On the wall near the foot of my bed, there was a streak of dark red liquid streaming down the wall. It looked like blood. It was dripping from the ceiling, pooling on the floor. Sliding down the old wallpaper like a slow, steady river of death. I froze. My nightmares were coming true. The monsters I had always imagined were finally real. And they were bleeding through my ceiling. I screamed for my parents. But they didn't come. The thunder was too loud. I tried to get out of bed, but my body wouldn't move. I was paralyzed with fear. I just laid there, staring at the blood dripping down the wall. Watching it pool on the floor. The worst part was that I wasn't allowed to leave my bedroom. My parents had gotten tired of hearing that I was scared. They had told me to just stay in bed and sleep. So I stayed in bed. All night. I watched the blue from the ceiling. I watched it run